Now at 6, KOAM has learned how much last year's data breach of the city of Joplin is costing taxpayers. Plus, voters in McDonald County will decide a $21 million school bond will break it down. And a local school is on a mission to plant 10,000 plants for a fundraiser.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
8 months ago, the city of Joplin fell victim to a data breach. Now we're learning what the cost of that breach was. This is KOAM News at 6. KOAM's Chris Warner found the cost of the breach and has more.
In July of last year, the city of Joplin had what they called a network security incident that ultimately shut down city phones, online services, and someone outside managed to take files out of the city's network. That impacted employees as some employer-sponsored health plan files were taken, and some residents were affected as well as sewer bill files were also impacted. Ultimately, a security firm was hired to solve the problem and a ransom was paid. The city did not disclose those costs. Earlier this year, we took a look at budget amendments passed by council following the data breach. One amendment had an unusually high amount for the city's general liability insurance fund. KOAM requested documents related to that fund, and those documents disclosed the cost of the breach. The city paid a ransom of just over $338,000 via a wire transfer service. That's where the city's general liability insurance fund comes in, as it covers just over $313,000 of that cost with a $25,000 deductible. While that cost is covered by insurance, there are 4 firms that were paid for services related to the data breach, which, according to the document obtained by KOAM, are not covered by insurance. Stronghold Data, Baker Hostetler, TracePoint, and ESRI all received payments from the city related to the breach. Those costs total an additional $322,000. Now, we reached out to the city regarding those costs and how they were paid. We had additional questions regarding the data breach. However, the city declined to answer our questions. Based on the document KOAM received, there's $322,000 of taxpayer money that was spent for the data breach that's not accounted for by insurance. And the total cost of the data breach was more than $635,000. I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
Chris, thanks. You can find the complete cost report in this story at KOAMnewsnow.com. Next month, area voters will head to the polls to decide some elections and ballot measures. That includes McDonald County, Missouri, where voters will choose whether to pass a $21 million school bond. The bond would fund the construction of 6 storm shelters at various schools in the district and a remodel of some school areas, including classrooms and a nurse's station. The bond would maintain the current mill levy so taxes would not increase.
Basically, this is just an extension of the bond that we already have in place. And so there will be no increase in taxes if this passes. There'll also be no drop off of taxes. It will remain the same. So whether it passes or fails, the taxes are still going to be the same.
The election will take place on April 5th. For more information on this bond, there's going to be a public meeting tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. at the McDonald County High School Performing Arts Center. Also in McDonald County, students at Rocky Comfort Elementary are on a mission to make the world a greener place. And they're doing that by planting more than 10,000 plants in their greenhouse. Once the plants have grown, they're going to be sold as part of the school's annual plant sale, with that money going towards school improvement projects.
I think they need to know where everything comes from, their food. I think it's important that they have hands-on opportunities to be able to plant plants and see like the fruits of their labor through agriculture.
The seeds for this project were paid for with a grant from Walmart. Lots of rain across the area today. Let's check in with Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we've had moderate to heavy rain since a really late morning, just periods of showers, thunderstorms, kind of loud at times. Good news here is we aren't seeing anything too strong. We're not seeing anything severe. We're not going to as we go into the rest of the evening hours and the overnight hours for us tonight. Where you do see the yellows, oranges, and red, that is showing us moderate to heavy amounts of rain, just batch after batch continuing to rotate through over the past several hours. And this moisture extends all the way back into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Again, luckily, we're not going to see anything too strong or severe, but very heavy amounts of rain for us tonight. We could get some stronger storms tomorrow, so I'll break that down for you here in just a bit.
See you then. An Adrian, Missouri man is dead after a crash in Vernon County. Authorities say 69-year-old Charles Schutte was riding a motorcycle on I-49 about 14 miles north of Nevada when he hit the guardrail. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. A bill in Missouri would change several election laws. That legislation, which cleared a House committee, would require photo ID to vote and hand-marked paper ballots. The bill would also make it illegal for voting machines to be connected to the internet, and it would allow registered voters to change their registered address in person on Election Day, among other changes. The bill will now go to the full House for discussion, but a hearing is not currently scheduled. The city of Knoll, Missouri is giving residents a chance to provide input about a project to stabilize a stream bank and improve sidewalks. The project would stabilize the bank along Elk River on Route 59 between the Elk River Bridge and Butler Creek Bridge. It would also add an improved sidewalk along that same stretch of Route 59. The project is expected to cost $2.1 million and construction would begin next year. Public meeting is going to be on March 29th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. There won't be a formal presentation. It's going to be more of a Q&A session. Coming up, how the Bonne Terre, Missouri community is showing support for the police officers there who were shot last week. Plus, how a Springfield-based restaurant is bringing the tastes of England to Carthage.
Christy in Pittsburgh.
Last week, Bonne Terre, Missouri was rocked by tragedy as one police officer was killed in a shootout and another was injured. In the wake of the shooting, a Bonne Terre Sports Grill owner sprang into action to show support. Pepper Baker reports.
The Bullpen Sports Grill in Park Hills has a blue line around its logo. Owner Nick Basinger said not many people know that it was done with intention.
So I've got almost 10 years in law enforcement, just recently hung it up, and it's a very tight community around here. Every neighboring agency responds to each other's calls, and they'll back each other up. Everyone knows all the officers around here.
He worked with Bonne Terre police officers often and remembers being on duty with Officer Lane Burns and Corporal Garrett Worley.
We've all worked alongside each other whenever I was in Deloge. I've responded to calls with both of them. I've backed them both up on calls when I was in Deloge.
Burns and Worley were both shot, responding to a disturbance call at the nearby Motel 6 early Thursday morning. Burns lost his life and Worley was severely injured.
Two brave men, I'll tell you. I've been in those shoes. I've walked that line. Such brave men. I have absolutely no idea what they went through that night. I can't even imagine. But I'll tell you what, everyone in this restaurant is with them.
Basinger jumped into action that same day and decided to donate the proceeds from his restaurant that evening to the fallen and wounded officers' families.
I had the easy part. I made the post on social media. Our staff in the community did everything else. But we had, hundreds of people line up, come in here. Almost $8,000 was raised in 4 hours.
He's not stopping there. He plans to continue doing what he can to support those who protect us.
Corporal Worley's going through quite a hard time with some injuries, and I'm really looking at getting a pretty good fundraising night, benefited just for financial assistance on any medical bills or anything that he has.
Authorities identified the suspect in that shooting as 21-year-old James Emery. Police say he was killed when officers Burns and Worley returned fire. As for Officer Worley, his sister says he's still recovering and is expected to be in the hospital for 3 weeks. Southwest Missouri restaurant is bringing British cuisine to Carthage. London Calling Pastry Company is a restaurant in Springfield that specializes in British food, including a sort of pastry which is similar to pies but can include fruit or meats. Today they brought their food truck to the King Cash Saver in Carthage to give people there a taste.
The difference between this food, there is nothing like it in this area. What we make, there's different variations of it. So You can get a calzone, but that's slightly different. It's a different dough. This is a handheld pot pie, so golden flaky pastry, and inside we're very versatile with meat. Potato.
The London Calling restaurant is at 836 North Glenstone Avenue in Springfield. A little bit later, Missouri Southern baseball looks to finish strong in its series against Washburn.
Plus, heavy amounts of rain, showers, thunderstorms continue for us tonight. Those details coming up. Well, it's turned out to be a very wet day for us today. Of course, we had a fantastic weekend. We had temperatures 60s Saturday, 70s yesterday, and then got a little wet outside today. Showers, thunderstorms developing late morning into the early afternoon. We've had some heavy amounts of rain. It's been loud at times, some thunder, some lightning, but thankfully we're not seeing anything too strong. We're not seeing anything severe. We're not going to as we go through the rest of the evening hours. Look at the bands, showers, thunderstorms. Let's get a little bit closer here, and where you see the yellows, oranges popping up, that's your moderate, that's your heavy rain. But look how the moisture continues to flow in from northeastern parts of Oklahoma. So a pretty good batch on the Missouri side from Springfield, Mount Vernon, Monette. A little bit of a break right along I-49, then it picks right back up again. Southeastern Kansas, you can see the heavier pockets, Yates Center, Iola, and then we can track a little bit farther toward the east. Pretty heavy amounts of rain along the I-49 corridor and east. Let's go a little bit farther south. You can see a little bit of a lull, west side of Joplin, and then heavy rain all the way down through McDonald County, Berry County, Benton County. As we work into northeastern Oklahoma, it just keeps pushing in. A little bit of a break in spots, but in general, it's just periods. Showers, thunderstorms are going to continue to rotate in as we go through the evening hours. Any severe weather is mainly staying southern Oklahoma and then down through central Texas, and that's where it's mainly going to stay as we go through the overnight hours. But this is a big storm system. It's also a slow-moving storm system. So it's a 3-day storm today, tomorrow, Wednesday, really into Wednesday night before it pushes out of here. Live shot, this is our Landers live tower cam, Lander Chevrolet on the southeast side of Joplin. So you can see Interstate 44, it's wet, so slow down if you are going to be out on the roads. Temperatures mainly sitting lower 50s. It's a little too cool to get severe weather, but warm enough to get some stronger storms. Through the evening hours, we slide back, really just kind of holding steady into the mid-50s during the overnight hours for us tonight. All right, let's go through time. Periods of thunderstorms continue all evening long. After midnight, we get into what it is called the dry slot of the system. It's a dry punch of air. So the rain cuts off after midnight tonight, really most of the morning. Late morning into the early afternoon, have a little bit of a dry line that's going to rotate in, a little bit of instability. So along the state line, Kansas, Missouri state line, and into southwestern Missouri, we may get a few random pop-up thunderstorms that could be strong to low-grade severe, but our window is only from about 11 a.m. until about 1 p.m., and then it's done. Temperatures, they're gonna warm into the mid-60s. We'll start to drop during the evening hours, then just cold showers rotate in tomorrow night, and then cold showers sticking around on Wednesday. We may even get a few flakes of snow mixing in on Wednesday. All right, additional rainfall still. We've already had heavy amounts of rain, but additional rainfall, I think a lot of areas an inch and a half on top of a half an inch to an inch that we've already seen. 64 tomorrow, 43 on Wednesday, so cooling down, but looks pretty good heading into this coming weekend.
It is officially spring now as of yesterday.
It is.
That means spring showers.
Spring storms.
I guess. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, Coach of the Year honors for a pair of Pitt State track and field coaches. And Missouri Southern baseball finishes up their big MIAA series with Washburn. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Doug.
The Missouri Southern Lions have split the first 2 games of their 3-game series with Washburn. Both games have been decided by 1 run, with the Lions winning 10-9 on Saturday and the Ichabods winning 8-7 on Sunday. The 2 teams up early today, finishing off the series before the rain hits. Cole Woods, great early on the mound for Southern. Strikeout there. He strikes out the first 6 batters he sees today. Chayton Beck Breaks the scoreless tie in the second. Fights it off into right to score Tragan Parker. Lions up 1-0. Now in the third, it's now 1-1. Beck back to work again. Going to right field. Case Tucker hustles around to score. And Washburn puts a throw in the dugout, so Cole Robinson also comes home. Southern goes back up 3-1, but once again, Washburn has an answer. Tied 3-3 in the sixth. Trevor McCollum drills it to center. One hops the fence for the ground rule double. Connor Scott scores to give the Ichabods their first lead, and they would add to it. Ichabods take the game and the series 8-4.
When we had our chances to score, I think in the seventh, bases loaded, nobody out, weren't able to do that. Credit to Washburn for hanging in there. I thought our starter did a really good job, and Washburn's a good offensive team, was able to hold them down. So we just got to capitalize because teams like Washburn keep coming. When we get chances to score, we need to do it.
Missouri Southern softball is also at home today. The Lions host a doubleheader against Minnesota State, aiming to avoid a third straight loss. Now the Mavericks, they're pretty good, entering the day ranked number 21 in the national poll. Sydney Nielsen was huge for Minnesota State in game one. Here, solo homer for Nielsen. Bounces it off a car out there. She goes 3 for 4, 2 jacks and 3 RBIs. Mavericks winning a shutout in game one, 7-0. In game two, Lions try to avoid the doubleheader sweep. They actually got started in this one, but the game was canceled with no score in the third due to the weather. Missouri Southern now 15-12 this season. They'll be back in action on Friday at Northeastern State. There's already been a lot of quarterback movement in the NFL this offseason, and there's more today. The Atlanta Falcons are dealing quarterback Matt Ryan to the Colts in exchange for a third-round draft pick. Ryan was the third overall pick for Atlanta back in 2008. Spent 14 years with the team, made the Pro Bowl 4 times, made 1 Super Bowl appearance, and was the league's MVP in 2016. After that trade, the Falcons signed Marcus Mariota to a 2-year deal. Mariota was the second overall pick in 2015, spent the last 2 seasons with the Raiders. And one more, Jameis Winston is headed back to New Orleans, signing a 2-year deal today with the Saints. Winston was 5-2 as the Saints starter last year before a knee injury ended his season. Finally, Coach of the Year awards for a pair of Pittsburgh State coaches. PSU track and field head coach Kyle Rutledge has been named the Central Region Men's Indoor Track and Field Coach of the Year. Ben Barrows is the Men's Assistant Coach of the Year. These guys led the Gorilla Men to a 3rd-place finish at the Indoor National Championships earlier this month. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Terry Green served in the U.S. Army from 1967 to 1969. The Jasper, Missouri native was stationed in Vietnam as an assistant leader of the 1st Squadron, 10th Cavalry of the 4th Infantry Division. Received a Purple Heart, an Army Commendation Medal, and a Vietnam Service Medal with 2 Bronze Service Stars. We are proud to salute Terry Green, a 4-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes from all across this area. You can also nominate a hero of your own anytime you like, and it's very simple. You just click on the link on our website, and of course that's KOAMNewsNow.com. A reminder to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports. Download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge. You'll find it in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, wherever you get your apps, really. Just search for KOAM News app. Plenty of rain today and more on the way.
You may want the weather app if you don't have it tonight, because we do have showers. We have thunderstorms, heavy amounts of rain. It's going to last about the next 6 hours, and then we're going to get a break. But we are going to get some additional pop-up thunderstorms tomorrow early afternoon, and then that cold, nasty rain and drizzle settles in tomorrow night.
Cold and nasty.
Yeah.
I don't like those adjectives. Final sports notes.
Well, Chayton Beck, you saw him in the Missouri Southern baseball highlights. He was making just his 2nd start at catcher for the Lions this year. He went 3 for 4 with a pair of RBIs, so not bad for just a 2nd start.
Impressive. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon services.